Okay, help me out.
In Florida, it was driven by Sierra Club and other groups suing the EPA saying, look.
This is our fundraiser for our group, and we're trying to bring out the awareness about Governor Scott. Rick Scott has saved our state from this person.
We've had 12 years to do it. Why wasn't
Some sort of consent decree or, federal judge rules or whatever. But I believe that's why it came to Florida first, simply because that was the earliest lawsuit of this type to come through the pipeline and come all the way to a resolution that the EPA was either ordered to by a judge or agreed to in a consent decree to go ahead and issue some regulations.
And were those, I'm trying to remember this as we go along, but those.
Yeah. Would you say that there would be a person after Norm who you feel has stood up well for the kinds of services that we're talking about?
Well, look, I think we win when we argue on the strength of our ideas and not totally ideology. But in Pinellas County, it costs $126 a day to arrest a homeless person and haul them off to the county jail. It costs $26 a day to take that person to safe harbor, provide them some services to help with their underlying substance abuse or mental health issue. That's $100 a day you're saving. So that should appeal to the fiscal conservative. Look, we're still saving money.
Changes. Does that include commercial properties? Because earlier you mentioned all of the tourist properties on the beach. And if you're reducing their property tax, then as well as getting at asking the people to pay to go to work.
What we're talking about is that all of the property tax, commercial or residential, the PSTA or the trim notice would be eliminated in exchange for the half-cent sales tax or the full cent sales tax.
we have to get organized as I know our state committee would.
But I appreciate your input, and there will be more meetings. If there's a better way for me to get the information to you, let me know. Y'all have like an email group?
Get your K through 12 right. You're never going to get your college, and not everybody needs to go to college. But you got to have your basic bus system up to speed, and we don't have that in Pinellas County. But we can't do it just based on the current funding system we have. So you're going to hear a lot about that over the next year.
What exactly is the difference between just a regular PSTA and the light rail? It's going to be like the subway system, something very light?
Light rail is probably going to be at the surface. We can't do subways in Florida. And it's almost
that rail system.
Yeah. We're basically looking now, and we've had public forums on it. We were looking at corridors to move you east and west, from Clearwater to Gateway, and we were looking at Ulmerton, 118th, and East Bay, West Bay, Roosevelt. And what we came back and recommended was East Bay, West Bay, Roosevelt. North-south, we were looking at 4th Street, I-275, and 28th Street. And the recommendation, this is on PinellasOnTrack.com.
Oh, okay.
PinellasOnTrack.com. The recommendation now is I-275, and it will jut out on Gandy and take you to Park Place, Pinellas Park Place where the movies are, and then take you back up on 275. So you can see the map there is what's being proposed.
Okay.
And also, we're working with FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, as they redesign Howard Franklin. It would have a rail or express bus dedicated structure.
Oh, okay.
And so the connection would take you across the Tampa as well. All of those things are going to be presented in public forums over the next year to get input. And ultimately, the county commission has to vote to put it on the ballot.
Okay. Would it go like downtown Tampa to that bus depot, or would they have like a
We don't know exactly where the connection is, but we're working with Park and the Tampa, Hillsborough transportation folks. But we're thinking somewhere around West Shore. We want to be able to connect to the airport over there as well, and then downtown Tampa. We were going to connect to the high-speed rail station that was proposed for downtown Tampa, but we have to wait.
Behind the EPA rules and regulations. This is very, very complicated science. I've done some of it myself. And these people in Tallahassee this is not a scientific issue the way they're presenting it. It's an anti-President Obama issue. And I think as Democrats, we really have a responsibility to push back on that and say the EPA produces good science. And this is not about President Obama. This is about moving the country forward in particular ways that we have long been committed to with the Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act.
Well, I'm as pro-Obama as anybody, and I supported him and will again. I didn't view it that way. I definitely viewed the high-speed rail issue as an anti-Obama issue. And certainly a lot of the healthcare talk we hear, when it's the same thing that Mitt Romney Institute in Massachusetts is an anti-Obama. But to me, it was a cost and a nebulous science. If you've got something I can read to help me understand your position, I'd love to read it. But Pinellas County has done a lot of things, and we spent a lot of money, millions of dollars to clean up Lake Seminole and other lakes, Lake Tarpon, on an annual basis. The fertilizer ordinance was a part of us trying to keep the waters clean. But let me see what you have, and I read it with an open mind.
Well, I'm just suggesting that the science has already been done by the EPA.
And
So we don't need, it's not about the science. It's about this anti-federal government attitude that's existing in the country, and we fall right into it when we talk about we're going to sue, we're going to avoid clean air, clean water, superfund applications, and the way to solve that is to sue the federal government. I'm suggesting that this is not a problem with the science. This is a problem, and that's all I have to say. I don't need to argue.
Well, I'm not arguing, but I'm not going to accept that as my reason for supporting it. And it was not my reason for supporting it. I can tell you, the Florida Association of Counties has folks, commissioners from all over the state, and we agreed almost unanimously on it that it's an unfunded mandate. If anybody, the state and the feds ought to pay for it. Don't make local governments pay for it. And when I voted for it, it certainly was not out of any anti-federal, anti-Obama. So that's just speaking for me.
There's,
You've already addressed this, but did you talk about our county, in addition to several others, suing the EPA so we don't have to enforce the Clean Water Act?
No, I didn't.
Well, can you talk about that? What was I don't understand what the thinking, I know it's a cost issue, but we've had so many years to address it, and we were given so much time to work on it, and now all of a sudden.
The way it was explained to me by folks who admittedly know more than I do about those issues is that it was a cost that the counties couldn't bear to meet these standards. And again, aren't we the only state?
Yes.
Right. So it was, again, one, we can't afford it. We've got a shrinking tax base already.
But we've had 12 years to do it.
And second, we're the only state, why is Florida singled out?
Yeah.
To have to adhere to these standards and no one else does.
St. Pete Democratic Club is one of several Democratic clubs in Pinellas County, and their main mission is to support Democratic candidates and causes. Very engaged group of club members, and their main questions are about issues surrounding this legislative session in Tallahassee in the state of Florida, and also the presidential election in 2012 next year.